ho, ho, it's magic, you know. Never believe it's not so. It's magic, you know. Never believe it's not so.
2016 of your favorite television show and mine, Keeping It Real, live from Atlanta, second Tuesday of every month, right here at 7:15 Eastern Time. Although this show is Keeping It Real, or Keeping It Real, as I like to call it, I've changed the format a little bit to start the year off on a happy note. And I say that because this is a political season. I've purposely kept politics and religion out of my shows ever since I started this adventure about 4 years ago, but I just felt like it was probably time to just open up the floodgates and let it all hang out. So I've decided tonight to do a show with three of my good friends. I'll introduce them. Mr. Matthew Schwartz, who is an attorney, constitutional attorney. Mr. Jerry Farber, a comedian and entrepreneur.
Different
and
times.
Mr. Chris Massey, the leader of the Chris Massey Band, and he also has his own show on our network. Myself and Mr. Schwartz are kind of on the conservative side, you can say, although Jerry Farber says I'm to the right of Attila the Hun. Now, Jerry and Chris are sort of to the left a little bit, and I always say...
We're the normal ones.
Yeah, well, I always say that Jerry and Chris are to the left of Karl Marx. So you can kind of see where we're coming from. So we're going to do this little test tonight, as it were, and we're going to call this segment Stirring the Pot. And we're going to just take it wherever it goes. We're going to talk about current issues, the candidates that are out there on the campaign trail, the thieves like Hillary Clinton. We're going to bring that up. And anytime one of us gets out of hand, I brought the sweetness bell. This means
We
that
need
get-
our own bell, because if you're going to have an opinion and control the bell, not a good show.
All right, give me the bell.
Give
Give me the bell, because I
I
have to
won't
start,
get
I
my
have to
bell
start
out.
ringing.
What are you kidding me? This is we got a revolt already. We haven't even started the damn show. All right, everybody, first one to the bell gets to ring it. How's that? So I think this will be a fun format, and geez, I guess because I'm the moderator, I should let somebody else go first. So, Jerry, you are certainly by far the oldest in the group here. You're 90.
I'm
90
78 years old.
78.
And I'm
Okay.
glad
God
to
bless
be
you.
here. I went to a cemetery today. Two Mexicans chased me with shovels. Anyway, hey, Happy New Year. Hey, good to see you. My wife said. So,
Well, listen, Jerry, I'm going to throw it open to you. You just threw out the first bit of issue, I guess, as it were, that you'd like to have a discussion about.
If I
and
may.
we'll just go from there.
being the most unknown comic that any of us have ever heard of. But what's interesting to me, it's a little bit off the beaten path. Why are there so many comics that I can name that are liberal? If you check them out, don't take my word for any of this, that you check that have great senses of humor. The only conservative I know that tried to do comedy was Dennis Miller, and he's been eviscerated because he took it all too seriously. You know who Dennis Miller is?
Of course.
Do you have a theory on it? You go to you've got a great sense of humor. Congratulations for your side. But have you ever noticed that Jon Stewart's, the Mel
Sure.
Brooks, all these guys were liberal, are liberal?
Can we speak up just a little bit?
No, I
make
want
sure
to do the whole show.
Oh,
because,
okay.
yes,
Excuse me
I
for
wanna do-
interrupting. I don't
you
want
have
to
a
be...
theory on it. Why?
I think most entertainers as creative people, they are using a different part of their brain than, say, engineers.
Good answer.
And so when they left, I don't know if it's left-right, but if I get it right, let's say that the creative side is the left side of the brain, they tend to have more liberal politics than, say, engineers and mathematicians and people who are using more logic. And it goes for, it's the same is true with liberals are more emotional, and their arguments come from more emotion, and people on the right, the argument is much more filled, I think, with logic and reasoning. But as for Dennis Miller, I think that it's a general rule that entertainers are going to be more liberal, and I think that, you know...
But why do you think that? That's the core. Why would you think it is a Jon Stewart has become a Jon Stewart? And he's, by the way, can take Obama down in a minute, which he does often, which I think is why he's so popular. He's not married to just what he thinks because he's growing every day, but he does land on the side.
I agree with what you're saying, but you're saying it in too nice of a way. Okay, you know, Sean Hannity does comedy every night. He just doesn't know it. Yeah. And,
Ooh, hey.
So I mean, basically what it is this: anybody in most fields where you have creativity, whether it be music, acting, painting, writing, or any of these things, you're going to find more liberal people, and the reason is because to be a creative person, you have to be able to think outside the box. And generally speaking, my views with conservative people is that it's right, it's wrong, it's black, it's white. There's no in between. That's why the Democrats are called the Progressive Party. Okay, it's worked this way all the time. We don't need to fix it. And anything that there's any change involved that goes on in this country, they're up against it. Whether it be gay marriage or things on gun control or equal pay for women or anything that's different from the status quo that we've done, it's not inside the box. So therefore,
I endorse
it can't be
that,
right.
and not reluctantly.
Well, I don't. I've got a one word answer for this whole discussion.
Which is?
It's called the wimp factor.
Well, I was in
And
Vietnam.
I'll give you
Were you? I was in Vietnam.
I was in Vietnam.
Not Vietnam. Canada. I was in Canada.
All right,
during
Canada.
Vietnam.
That's
But it was
close.
the same time of year. And I was up there with Dick Cheney and Newt Gingrich and Sean Hannity. And Sean Hannity won the purple, Yellow Heart. For showing
One
extreme
of the most
caution.
creative people ever known to man.
Who?
Truman Capote, very liberal. A wimp. You see, they had that in common.
Well,
In a
I know
lot of
you were a police
cases,
officer. I
not
respect
every case, Jerry, but a lot of cases. Wouldn't you agree?
I knew this would happen. And your dad's loving it. He said, wait till I get hold of it. I know that. Look, Glenn, I used
That's
to be a
why I
man.
brought an attorney, in case you push me off the stool.
I studied law. I studied law at Carolina.
I always
but I
thought
hated
that
law. I wanna
liberals
finish
were
this.
called progressives because they are making a lot of progress towards taking us to a totalitarian regime.
That's right.
God's sakes, I need a joint. You look like the only person here that could roll a one-paper joint. You know what I
See,
mean?
conservatives are called conservatives because they want to conserve the liberties that this country was
Exactly
founded
right.
upon. And a progressive wants to change all
But
that. They
from
want
the
to take away your
1850s, it's not the 1850s anymore.
freedom is
It's not going
timeless.
to go back.
Freedom
to
is timeless. Freedom is freedom
Exactly.
from
Freedom
thousands
is
of years ago
timeless.
to today.
Yes, it is.
And conservatives embrace a system of government that protects those freedoms. Okay, and liberals and progressives have this idea that for the betterment of mankind, we should empower a strong centralized government to regulate everybody's behavior. And that's where I think most of the difference comes from. I mean, really, what this really is the timeless conflict between security and freedom. Every time you want more security, you're going to have to give up some freedom. And every time you want more freedom, you have to give up more security. A conservative is going to value freedom more than security, and a liberal is going to value security more than freedom, and that's where the tension is.
That's a perfect point to end this particular discussion. And we'll go on to another
I
subject.
think it ends the show.
But that's your opinion.
Just like Duke and Carolina, we're not going to get along. Let's just play
We
the
have
game.
so many issues to cover. We can't belabor on one issue or the
I
other.
agree with that, by the
Yeah.
way.
Oh, you
do?
But I think you both make great sense. Both of you.
I'd like to throw out another point of discussion, if that's okay. And I did a little research on this. Immigration, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing in our country that over 9 million people are out of work. And illegal immigrants hold approximately 17% of all the jobs in this country. Isn't there something wrong with that
All
picture?
right, let me talk on that note in the paper today, the New York
Yeah.
Times,
Mm-hmm.
about Georgia.
Yeah.
The best fans immigrants have, illegals, are because they cannot get people to work in the chicken slaughterhouses. That's a big industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the paper, not my word.
Well, I'm in the
The
construction
only
business.
ones they can get, let me just finish,
Yeah.
are the illegals. They cannot get working people who want to go. They're not going to do that job. So how about the landscape? They mentioned all this
Yeah,
stuff
but the
about Georgia.
point is, if they weren't here illegally, let's say if we had really good immigration laws and the laws were enforced where they couldn't just flood over the Mexican-American border
No, I
And
agree.
you,
they
and you
couldn't
actually
get in.
and you find the employers for hiring
we
illegal
would have
people.
all these American citizens who
They
could have
couldn't get
access to
these
those
kids in
jobs.
Gainesville to work at those
That
slaughterhouses.
doesn't,
They
Jerry,
can't
you're
get
missing the
them.
point. They're here illegally. That means illegally.
How
They
about-
shouldn't be here.
Do
And
me a
if they
favor.
are here, we need to send them
Go
back
get
where they
the
came
guys
from.
that own Tyson and those guys that have millions of employees. Tell them your problem with illegals.
So you
Let them
want to
say,
take
we got an industry.
You want to
We
take
hire a lot of
17 million people
Yeah.
in this economy
Yeah.
that spend money every single day.
And deport
You just
them.
want to get them all out of here, and
Absolutely.
you think it's going to be fine.
Get the buses.
Let me tell you.
Eisenhower did it. Reagan did it. It
That
can be
was in the
done.
1820s, for God's sake.
Listen, In the 1980s and 1990s, more people went to college and graduated than any time before in United States history, okay? I run a construction company. All my friends are in the construction business. These white people, you think that are going to take these jobs that these Hispanics are going to take? They're not going to do it. They're going to sit home with their degree, and they're going to collect unemployment until it runs out. And then they're going to move back in with their mom.
No, here's the solution to that problem. You get the people that are on welfare and get them the hell off of welfare and say, you want to collect something? Here's a job for you. Go to work. Get off the welfare roll.
Not only that, we're not saying get rid of all immigrants. We're saying get rid of all illegal immigrants.
Exactly.
I was talking about
have
17 million
people
they just talking
immigrate
about.
legally.
Yeah.
Have people immigrate legally to this country.
Exactly.
We're not against
I'm all for
immigrants.
that.
We're against illegal immigrants. And I think that if you pay people enough, they'll work.
Well, the bottom line is this. You can't send them all back.
Why?
Because you're not
Why?
going to do it.
It's doable.
You don't.
It's been
done.
Okay.
You don't need
All right.
to. You don't need
but
to.
here's why.
You don't need to.
Let me tell you something.
All you have to do is cut off the money.
Let me
Cut
finish
off the
my
money.
point. The whole reason the Republicans want to send these people
Not a
back is
Republican
because,
issue.
yes, you do. You guys are the
It's a
ones that...
legal, illegal issue.
Well, they know these people are going to vote Democrat. And if
That's
these
true.
people were going to vote
It is
Democrat,
true.
it would be a totally different view on whether or not they should leave. Sure it would.
No, it wouldn't.
Sure it
No,
would.
no, no.
You're wrong, Chris.
Because
I believe in the
we're not
legal
concerned.
system in
We're
this
not
country.
concerned with the success of the Republican Party. In fact, you'll hear from Dennis and I that we're very angry at the Republican Party because the establishment of the Republican Party is in favor of illegal immigration. We are not concerned with the success of the Republican Party. We're concerned with the success of the American economy.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's number one. Number two, you don't have to round up all the illegal immigrants. What you have to do is make it unprofitable for them to be here. Right now, they can come here and they can get the jobs and they can send the money back to Mexico, which is what they're doing to the tune of maybe $40-50 billion a year, going out of our economy into Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras. I worked in a business that did that, okay? Now, here's the thing. What you have to do is fine the people who hire the illegal immigrants, okay? Then they're not going to be able to get the jobs.
That's
if
right.
they can't get the jobs,
You'll
they're not going to
shut
come
the
here.
whole- You'll shut the whole construction industry in the state of Georgia anyway down.
No.
Next time they're big, go to a neighborhood where they're building houses, park your car
Legal
and see
immigrants.
who's doing the work. The
Get legal immigrants.
There are no legal immigrants doing construction work. They're all illegal.
The
That's
free
because
market,
they're
the
not
free
enforcing
market
the
will
border.
handle that. A free market will handle that. If you have a need and you have to pay somebody to hammer nails into wood, you will find those people. You may have to pay them more money,
Right.
but you will find those people. The
find-
market will correct itself.
Let me tell you what kind of white guy you find in construction.
I don't care if they're white, black, or Mexican.
Or any of them. Let me tell you what you got.
Well, just
No
try to
high school
care for a minute
diploma.
to listen.
No
To
high
listen
school
a little
diploma. Criminal record. An ex-wife showing up at your office every Friday wanting his paycheck. Okay. These are the things. These are the things that I'm telling you.
Now you know we can't hire this guy.
There are not
Look who
enough.
he's hiring.
There are not enough legal skilled Americans to work construction in the United States.
And make it a requirement because you take the welfare away if they're able-bodied and give them one of these jobs.
They don't know how to do it.
Then teach them. That's where you come in.
Dennis.
Jerry, I want your
wanna
opinions
go back.
on this. Go
I
ahead.
want to go back to Christmas week. I took my kid to New York.
Yeah.
We go every year.
Okay.
We go to the stores because he has a little pocket money to buy something. I asked him, I said, I'll give you an extra 100 if you can find one piece of cloth that's made in America. Let's go back before this. There's nothing made in this country anymore. My daddy was a manufacturer. It's all gone in North Carolina. There's one shoe manufacturer in America. Check it out. There's no jobs here.
Why is that?
You tell me.
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because the
And-
labor costs are ridiculous. We force
Taiwan.
companies to leave. All our manufacturing's gone because of all these unions and labor regulations, which make it impossible to compete.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now if you get rid of the labor regulations, you make it easier to pay people a decent wage here without having to worry about all the workers' comp regulations and all the union requirements. All of a sudden, things get cheaper and you can have a business do well here.
Why is it so hard to get the Republicans to acknowledge $12 or $15 an hour is workable for the qualified?
We haven't
How are they
mentioned
gonna live?
Republicans or Democrats.
No, I'm asking you. But no, in Congress it's hard to get that passed anywhere except your
Well, here, let me give you a
Starbucks did it a long time.
personal example, okay?
Yeah.
I go into my McDonald's by my house last week.
Right.
There's one lady, a young girl actually, at the cash register, got tattoos from her fingernails to her top of her head, okay?
Okay.
Probably the only job that she could get. I order her a cup of coffee.
You don't go to
She takes my order. No, wait a minute. She takes my order. Do you think she turns around to draw the coffee? No. She pulls her cell phone out and she starts to text. And I'm standing there waiting for a cup of coffee. after about 7 minutes of this,
I'd say it's the boss's fault.
I
Somebody's
said-
not training this young person.
I said, can you look up from your cell phone for just a moment? I'd like to give you some very important information. She said, what? I said, if you worked for me, I'd fire your ass right here, right now, because you're supposed to be a customer service representative, and you're not supposed to be texting on your cell phone. This is one of the people that thinks they deserve $15 an hour. She's not worth
Dennis,
$6
this is
an
why
hour.
we go our separate ways, because that is so. You've eclipsed the problem because you are a police officer, and the
No,
first time
it
I
has
met
nothing
you,
to do
you
with
busted
that.
me. He busted me. This guy busted me. But he said, "You have any drugs in your?" I said, "Like, what do you mean?"
What do you mean?
Well, you know,
I remember that
He said,
traffic
"What
stop,
do you-"
actually.
I mean, look, you talk about these people on welfare and government
Yeah.
assistance. Okay, you know how many millions of people work a full-time job in their own government assistance? Because minimum wage is low. But then we're not going to raise minimum wage. You know, so what's the solution? You don't want to raise minimum wage, and this crap about these people
The
can better
minimum wage is
themselves
a
and those
fallacy.
guys.
The more you raise the wages, the more jobs people are going to cut, because people cannot
Right.
afford to pay the minimum wage. It's a myth. It's a terrible thing to do to the economy. I'm against any minimum wage at all. Not because I don't want people to earn a fair wage, but because I don't believe the government should get in the middle of a private contract between somebody who can provide services and somebody that pays
This
for
has
those
already
services.
been tried in this country back in the 1930s.
And we're
there's
suffering
this
the
thing-
effects of it.
No, there's this thing called greed. And if there's no minimum wage,
Mm-hmm.
there'll be people working for 80 cents an hour in this country. There will.
Right.
That is
You know
why.
what?
That's
they
why
don't
the
have
law.
to.
That's
they
why
don't have to. If they can simply say, I'm not going to work for that wage.
That is why Franklin Delano Roosevelt
Yeah.
put the law into the books in 1938.
Mm-hmm.
Another myth, conservative people always say, these jobs were meant for young people. No, the hell they weren't. Young people made up less than 1% of the population when that law was put into place.
I'm not going to have to rely on those myths that you're saying exist on our side.
not
All
a
I'm going to
myth.
say is that the market will take care of itself, because nobody's going to work for 80 cents on the dollar.
Well, it's taking
And you know
care of
what?
itself.
If a
Friends,
business-
I think this is a great place to take a pause and do a short commercial break. What do you think, Al?
Are you looking for a great night out? Are you in the Atlanta, Georgia area? Are you looking to check out some live, awesome music during the week? They have keynote, poker tournaments, horseshoes, and special events. It's all at the Moon Shadow Tavern. That's at 3976 Lawrenceville Highway in Tucker, Georgia. That's the Moon Shadow Tavern. Give them a call, 770-674-2133. Check out their selection of great food, friendly service. Visit their website at msttucker.com. That's www.msttucker.com. Moon Shadow Tavern is a proud sponsor of the Chris Massey WebTV music show on www.americanheartsradio.com. Make sure you told them that American Hearts Radio sent you. Visit their website, check out their great selection of food, appetizers, wings, burgers, sandwiches and wraps, steaks and chicken, salads and sides. Also their drink specials. Live music during the week. Check them out. Give them a call, 770-674-2133.
Okay, welcome back to this version of Stirring the Pot, alias Keeping It Real. We're having a great time here this evening. I hope you've seen everything up till now. During the commercial break, I put my gun away, so that brings up a subject that's near and dear to my heart, guns and gun control, that the Democrats are trying to force down the throats of the working class, everyday American who has the right to bear arms. So I'd just like to... Would you like to start with any statistics, anything that you want to throw out for conversational purposes?
I'll start.
We'll let Chris start.
Okay.
Yeah.
90% of Americans, I looked it up before I get in here, are for background checks on guns. 90%.
Okay.
Anytime the Democrats say we want to get background checks on guns, the Republicans say they want to take away our guns.
They do.
No, they don't want to take away your guns. They want background checks. Look at that, the last terrorist attack out there in San Diego, whatever. If there had been background checks on those Middle Eastern people,
The terrorists?
yeah, there might have been a red flag thrown. They were buying all this ammunition.
Where did they get those guns?
You tell me.
Well, you don't know, obviously, because a background check wouldn't have gotten it, okay?
Okay. That's
right.
They bought it through an American citizen who could have purchased guns legally.
who could have purchased
What
all
is-
those guns.
What is
Yes.
the
All
matter with
those
the
guns.
background check? What's the matter with it?
Yeah, what's the matter with the background check?
It's not the background check. It's the registration. It's the government. It's the
And what's the
government
matter with
design
that?
registration. Well, if you
We
look
have
at
internal law.
history,
We have
any-
Social Security card. We have to get a driver's license.
Right.
Everybody knows. What's
If you-
the matter with that?
If you look at history, you'll see that every country that has caused mass murders by the government against their own people start with a gun registration.
Absolutely.
Because that's how they know where to go to get people's guns.
Examples, Stalinist Russia, Hitler's Germany.
They weren't America. And the problem is you guys
You know
don't
what
trust
wasn't
the
America
country.
20
You
We
don't
don't.
trust it enough.
We
You
don't.
don't.
You know what?
And
We don't
that's the
trust the
issue. You
liberals
don't.
running the country.
There's
Universal health
360
care-
million handguns
It's a
in
fact
this
that
country.
they want to take
360
away
million.
our
Universal health
Obama
care,
said, "We're
socialized
gonna go
medicine
get
wasn't
those
America
guns."
20 years ago.
Yeah.
We are now going towards that totalitarian
90%,
objective.
90% of Americans, 9 out of 10, are for background checks. And this is exactly why the Republicans will not win in the next election.
Chris?
You don't think there's background checks that are required now? You don't think the NRA backed background checks that are required now?
Okay,
There are background checks
You show
now.
up at the Gwinnett Gun Show at the Gwinnett County Fairgrounds, go in there with your checkbook and see how many background checks there are. Okay, go in there, start writing checks, hand out cash, get all the guns you want, and leave. And nobody, you know what they're going to say? Come back next year. There's not going to be a background check.
Okay.
You know that all of the mass murders that have happened in the last year and a half, everybody that did the murdering passed a background check to get their guns? That's a fact.
Well, I got a better-
And what is the background check
So
going to
that
show
guy,
you?
so you're telling me
What is
that
the
guy,
back-
that school in Connecticut, he passed a background check to go in there and shoot all those
when
kids?
you buy
He
a
had
gun,
no felonies.
when
He had
you
no
buy a
felonies on his
gun, you
record.
have to.
he was mentally ill.
He was, and you know where he got
That's
his guns
another
from?
issue. We should
he
be
got his
putting
guns
those
from his
people in
mother.
hospitals.
From his mother.
From his mother. He got it from his mother.
That's right.
So
And
a
she
background
passed a
check wouldn't have done
background check.
anything to prevent that.
All right, let me, a better question to
Yeah,
me.
go ahead.
What would you guys do?
What would I do?
Yeah, it's easy like a child. Say, I'm not going to do that. That's
Right,
like that. Give us a better solution than what.
Well,
First
maybe,
of
wait,
all,
maybe,
a better one. No, a better
maybe the
one.
question we should ask is, how come you're not trying to regulate cars more? Because cars kill 10 times as many people as guns do in this
They
country.
do, but we're not talking about cars.
No,
We're
but,
talking about
yeah, but
guns
you're
right
acting.
now.
Well, why is guns
I'm
such a big
asking,
problem?
what is the
Cars
problem?
look like a much bigger
What
problem.
would you do
You know,
with guns?
doctors also look like a much bigger problem. If you look at the statistics,
Lawyers
more
are the
people-
biggest problem.
No, we're not killing
Especially
people.
when I'm sitting next
We're not
to them.
killing people. We're just taking from them. Doctors are killing people.
Tell you that, I'm joking.
Doctors are
Down.
Doctors are killing
Stay.
more people with their treatments than guns are killing people in this country. The question is, why are you so hyper-focused on guns when you have statistically
Well,
these
because
other
we were
areas
just
which are
talking
killing
about that.
infinitely more
Then
Americans?
let's do them one at a time. We can't do them all at the same
So
time.
let's go with the
Wait.
worst ones first, cars. What can we do about the cars? Because leave the guns alone. They're not doing half as much as the
We
cars.
can get rid of in Buckhead the 8 drink a person limit. That's what we do. Take it back
Now
to
you're-
6 drinks.
Now you're talking.
I wrote down, and I can't even read my own handwriting. The USA is the first, number one out of all the country in guns per capita.
Well, yeah. I have
Per
the
capita.
statistics right here.
That's why it's so safe here.
Okay, then you would think that the USA is number one in murders, but no, Honduras is number one in murders.
Per
In
capita.
fact, the USA doesn't even come into the top 100 of per capita in murders in the world.
Yeah, out of 200 and some odd countries,
So
United
most of the
States
people
is
that own guns
100
are law-abiding.
121. That's halfway, more than halfway down the list. Even though we are number one, it's, I think you want to know the statistics in gun ownership. For every one person, well, for every one person, there's 1 point something guns in this country.
Obama said
number
in his
one.
speech, there's
But for murders,
360
we're
million
more
guns.
than halfway down the list. So there is a correspondence between guns and murders, but it's exactly the inverse of what most liberals and progressives think, because the more guns you have, the less murders you have.
At
Exactly
90% people for it. It's not just liberals. that are
For
it.
background checks you're talking about.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's not just liberals.
They're already doing that because when I bought my 4 guns, I had to go through an FBI background check when I purchased a gun at the gun store. They said, wait, we got to do the check. 15 minutes later, they came back and said, okay, we're going to sell you the gun. So they already do background checks.
I bought a gun to see
Except
how
at the gun
easy.
shows.
To see how easy.
Well, maybe there's a loophole. I
I
don't
bought a
know.
gun
Well, that's the gun
at a
show
pawn shop. I
loophole
bought a
that
gun
everybody
at a
talks
pawn
about.
shop
Yeah. How long ago?
about 8 days ago to see if it was easy. And look at me. would you want me to have a gun? He said, and he knew me. You're the comedian. He said, with a show like that, I don't blame you.
Well, if you look at all the mass killings, they're all, seriously, I'm not joking about this, they're all done by people whose politics lean to the left. So maybe we do need to have background checks to make sure that
How do you
progressives
know
can't
that?
get-
Yeah,
What
that,
kind of-
Name a
that
serial
won't
killer.
pass a-
Name one of these mass killers. You'll see it. Okay?
Timothy McVeigh, conservative, Christian, KKK,
Military.
biggest terrorist attack in this country.
Yeah. And,
Okay.
And did he use guns or did he use explosives?
He used a bomb. That's worse.
So what do you want to do now? Bomb regulation? I don't understand. What's your point? I'm talking about guns now. Okay.
I'm having a
Guns.
blast. I'll
I'm
tell
talking
you.
about guns. So Timothy McVeigh is not a mass gun shooter, but the Virginia Tech killer and Adam Lanza,
People that
and all
went in
these
there and
people
shot
to
those
the
people
left.
at that church.
Can I
they
make,
were liberal.
can I make
Yes.
a comment? The kid that shot the people in the church, this kid Lanza that shot all these kids in Connecticut, they had one thing in common, among other people that have been these mass shootings. They were all mentally ill. Now, I want you to hold that thought and realize that this progressive liberal government that we've got over the last 25, 30 years has eliminated just about mental illness hospitals. They put these people in prisons where they can't really treat them. You know why they eliminated it? Because of their rights and all of this BS that they talk about, the liberals. Instead of locking them up where they belong and just keeping them there till they get fixed, they don't do it. They let them go hit the streets. And what does Obama do? He's going to let all these freaking drug dealers out of jail.
Wait a minute.
And half of them are mentally ill.
Not murders in America. Let's go to Iraq. Let's go to that war, which Obama had nothing to do with. That he was the only one, by the way,
this
to
a-
vote against.
Oh, wait,
no,
we're changing
no,
subjects.
No,
Okay,
he did
now
it.
we're- now
and
we're
you've
into the
done it.
war.
We're
Okay.
talking about the war. That
The war.
4 of the generals that have written books said we should have taken a deeper breath and not gone to Afghanistan.
But what does
we
it
had
have to
no
do with gun
business doing
control?
it. Well, we're talking about murder. You said the murders, cars. You said cars are more than guns. I'm talking about Iraq is more than the car deaths. How about those apples? And check it out. Obama voted against going there, by the way. Check your history. So you can Obama
also
me
voted
to
against
death,
the
but fact
surge.
is, he voted against going there. We had no business going there. It was the Saudi Arabians, by the way.
When did
Why
he
don't we
vote?
go there? Why don't
He
we go
voted
to
100
Saudi?
and some times in the Illinois Senate.
Why don't we go
President.
to
Well,
Saudi Arabia? There were 17 of those guys that did 9/11. They were
Would you
Saudi.
have
citizens.
rather have not gone in there and then maybe risked a
Absolutely.
nuclear attack on
no,
American
I would
soil?
have rather taken a deep breath and done something reasonable for a change, like the military guys who retire say. We have no business there. We'll send 5,000 soldiers a fortune, pay them some money, let them do it. The dirty dozen concept.
What about with
That would
Iran?
work.
What do you think we should do with Iran? I mean, they're on the verge of getting
I think
nuclear
we need
weapons.
to talk. We can kill everybody any minute.
Oh, a
if you
strongly
guys would
worded
like
letter to the
We
Iranian
can kill
government.
them.
That'll accomplish a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Didn't we already talk? And they're already violating all the agreements that they
No,
signed
they
on
haven't
to. with
violated
Obama?
those agreements. They're violating other agreements.
They're already
No,
testing.
shot a
They shot a
missile,
missile
for
at our
God's sakes,
ships
last
They
week.
shot him, and they say death to America today, and they're shooting missiles at our ships. And you
been-
want to talk more?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you mentioned-
Well, what do you want to do? You want to kill? You want to start another war and let your kids go? I'm not letting mine
No,
go to
you know
that
what?
war.
I don't want
Is
to
that
send-
what you want?
I don't want to send guys
Somebody's
there.
kids got to go
But
to
I'll tell you
Iran.
what, you know what I'd like
right
to
now,
do?
we're not at war.
I don't
right
want to
now,
send
we're
my
not at
kids
war.
into war at all. I don't think we should have
Well,
a ground
you
war.
do. A
No,
lot
I
of
think
that
we should
crowd
decimate
are
Iran. We
warmongers.
should just
I don't want to
decimate
fight.
them.
Well,
Let's
bombing the hell out of them has worked before.
Yeah, you know what? What are you talking about? Why not? When hasn't it worked?
It doesn't work.
When does
We've
it-
been doing it. We've been bombing those people over there forever.
Who? What are you talking about?
Iran, we haven't put a bomb in Iran.
Yeah, when did we bomb people in
We
the Middle
bombed
East?
our.
But we're talking about Iran.
I don't know.
Iraq's a different
I think
subject.
we got rid of
I was
we got
talking
rid of
about war.
Saddam
War.
Hussein
Oh,
regime.
war in general.
You know what
I'm
we could
all
have done?
for it.
You know what we could have done?
I know you are.
Back in Obama's first term, there was a
the
group
cause
of
is
people
right.
that were revolting against them, and there was an election, and they were about to vote out the mullah regime. Okay, and they were voting against them that were getting beaten in the streets. That was an opportunity for us to support an incursion there. We could have supported these rebels to take over the mullahs regime without sending our guys there. Give them support, give them money, give them propaganda, whatever we needed to do. That was a blown opportunity. Same thing happened in Honduras, by the way. This administration is on the wrong side of every issue in the Middle East.
Now listen, I don't know if you guys are watch the world news or keep up with world events. I kind of do that, but in
know
my
when you-
opinion, looking at all of the world leaders, there's only one guy that we ought to be listening to who's got the chops, the knowledge, and the gonads to do the right thing, and that's Benjamin Netanyahu. He came here and talked before Congress twice.
I know, I
and
heard that talk.
he reminded me of Churchill.
Churchill,
him next to
his own
Obama,
people
and
put him
Obama
down.
looks like a
He
wimp.
was good against the Germans and forever banished from being anything in England. Netanyahu is a soldier. He cannot run that country.
He's been doing a good job.
8 of the generals today in the Times. Do you ever read the New York? No, you already said
it's
you
a
don't.
rag.
Because you can listen to Sean Hannity and get everything you guys need. Just eat sugar and drink whiskey too. It's good for you. You know.
What's the matter with Netanyahu?
Because that's going to bring there'll be a war there, and then we'll be involved in
Why,
it.
if
You
he's
understand?
such a bad
without
guy.
a war, without a war, what happens?
Because how are you going to kill 30% of your population there that deserves a Palestinian state? Do they not?
Wait a second. Are you
Do
talking about
they
Israel or
just-
Iran?
I'm talking about.
We're jumping around the subject.
No, it's going into Israel.
Okay.
You know what? I believe in Iran that they're too smart to start a war with Israel or with America or Britain.
I don't
or
think the
anybody
people
else.
in Iran want a war. I think
They
the
don't.
leaders
I think they
do,
don't.
eventually.
I don't think the leaders do. I think the religious people, just like in America,
Who do you
the
think's
crazy-
controlling them?
crazy
It's the religious people.
The evangelicals who deserve. They get Ted Cruz. That's
And here,
what they deserve.
our great astute president is giving them hundreds of billions of dollars.
150 billion.
Yeah, to give and take that money and support terrorists.
To give back to them.
And
Get back to
we
Iranians.
get we
Yeah, but
get a voice
they already
like
know that even Kerry has said they're going to spend that money on terrorism to attack Israel and our allies, and maybe even terrorist activities against us.
And so you
Iran is the
believe-
biggest state sponsor of
Trump is
terrorism in
right.
the world.
Our foreign policy is run
Tell
by
me
complete
this.
idiots.
This reminds me of one not long ago, since I was just 80 years old. You sound like kids on playgrounds. This and that. What will you do? A solution would really be wonderful.
Okay.
see, the
Let me tell
problem
you,
is
I would have done exactly what Netanyahu had advised, which is we had Iran on the ropes economically.
That's old news now.
No,
That's
no,
old
what
news.
you're saying
No,
is
it's old news.
You
Saying,
can turn
what
it
will
right
we
back.
do?
You can turn it right back. Do not give them the money.
Right.
Enforce even more strict
That's
sanctions.
because if Netanyahu in Australia, he wouldn't give a damn about any of that. Of course, he's protecting his interests. I got 18 family members
No,
in Israel.
I'm talking about the
in
plan.
Israel.
The plan is that
Yeah.
you reinstate those sanctions. You make them worse. You don't give them any money. You were choking the life out of Iran.
Right.
We were choking the life out of them. Now all of a sudden, all that's gone, and they're getting $150 billion, and we're showing them that we're a bunch of pussies.
And you've got 15 years to try to keep negotiating. You guys would like to blow the whole thing up.
No, we didn't
No,
say
no,
that.
no, no,
Yes, you are. No, you say it by
Would you-
implication.
No, I don't want to
We're
blow
gonna
anybody
fight,
up.
we're going to squeeze them.
Would you
The
prefer
images are
Iran
like
to
this.
have a nuclear weapon and drop it on Israel, or maybe give it to Assad?
Pakistan's got it, for God's sakes. Come on, it's going to be nuclear. South Carolina's got nuclear weapons. Nikki Haley's a nuclear
See, now
weapon.
look, now here's the thing is this. You can go over there and bomb them, and you can decimate the whole area or whatever. But when it's all done, if there are any of those people left, just 4 guys, they're going to get together and they're going to drink whatever the hell it is they drink over there, camel juice or whatever, and they're going to say, hey, we really hate America. And it's going to start all over.
Yeah, we got more bombs.
The only thing you can, all I'm saying is this. The
what I
only
just
way
said.
you're going to do away with terrorist activity over there is the Americans are going to have to go over there and take over the whole region and Americanize it. This is a religious war. It has been going on for centuries. It is never,
That's true.
as long as those people are breathing, it is never going to end.
Right.
You cannot win this war.
But now it's coming to our
unless,
shores.
unless they are all gone.
The war
exactly
may
my
not
point,
end,
yeah.
but we better stay
It
on
doesn't
the
need
winning
to.
side the entire time.
Yeah.
You can't just sit there and say, well, we can't win this war, so we'll let them develop these nuclear weapons. You have to keep knocking them down. Look, freedom is never a guarantee. Our freedom, our way of life is never a guarantee forever. There are always going to be people who are looking to take it from us, be it the communists or Islamofascists. There's always going to be elements that are after us,
Chinese.
trying to take it away from us.
Well,
Now, so you could take out the entire infrastructure of Iran. You can knock out all their government installations. You can knock out all their nuclear facilities, and try to be somewhat morally compassionate about by not killing all their people. But if they start acting up again, you do it again. But I'll tell you what, those people do respond to force. They don't
do.
respond. They don't
And they
respond
respect
well to people making peaceful overtures and concessions when they have one of their hudnas. Okay, what they respond to is overwhelming force, and you will stop them from doing things for 20 years.
Let
at a
me
time,
ask you
10 years at
this.
a time.
What do you think happens? Let's just say Iran drops a nuclear bomb on Israel. Okay? What happens to Iran?
What happens to Iran?
What do they
Well,
know?
with
Wait a
this
minute. Well, they
president-
haven't
with this
done it yet
president, nothing.
because they would be destroyed. They know that.
They know they would
Iran
be,
knows
they,
they'd
know,
be
they know
destroyed.
they would be
But
destroyed.
my point
They've
is,
had that-
I want to get
having-
there before there's a nuclear bomb dropped on
Having a
Israel.
nuclear weapon over there basically protects yourself from other countries because you know you got it. I mean, I don't think those people over there are very smart, but they know that Israel is our ally. And if they go over there and drop a bomb on Israel,
They see a lot of daylight now between Israel and the United States.
Don't you
because
think
they
that
don't see
Obama
that much
has
daylight.
cozied up more
They
to
don't see
Iran
that.
than Israel during his 7 years? That's very obvious because he's got Muslim tendencies. On that happy note, I'm going to end our conversation on this particular
I'm going to
subject.
smack, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to smack Al, the producer, because he's
Gotta
just the
smack
only
somebody.
sane one.
Jerry, you shouldn't have brought your Muslim tendencies with you.
Now, on to the next little bit of interesting topics that we have. The presidential election. I know I've got two fellas on the Republican side that I really like a lot, and they're right now at 1 and 2. I'll just let you figure out who those might be. But on the Democratic side, you obviously have only one choice.
Well, you haven't, you know, I'll speak for myself, but I'm interested in knowing.
So
your-
my question is,
Yeah.
with the
The felon or the communist?
with Benghazi, the serial lying, all the emails that were confidential and secret that were on her servers.
Don't stop now.
How can Hillary Clinton possibly get the nomination?
Because
and if she does, how in the hell could you
because-
possibly vote for her?
Look, I'll just say it right now and go ahead and say, y'all go ahead and do it. Republicans got no shot in this election.
Oh.
Zero.
Why is that?
Zero.
I'm making a bet
Well,
right now. I'm making a bet.
you
$100.
might be right.
If Hillary
You might be
doesn't
right.
win, going away, I'm giving everybody in this studio
Yeah.
less than
Look.
1,000. I've got that in my phone.
Donald Trump has hijacked your party. Okay, he has. All right, he is in single digits with women, blacks, Hispanics,
Gays.
gay people. There's no way in the world.
Did you ever,
think-
did
I
you
don't-
ever
I don't
hear?
think-
Not to mention, the Republicans are against every single policy that benefits the middle class. Every one of them. Let me tell you, and another thing is this. When George Bush got through with this country, I lost $35,000 in my retirement account, and my home was worth $100,000 less than it was before. And if you think there aren't millions of people out there like me, from Missouri to Nebraska to North Dakota, that say, there ain't no way in hell I'm putting another Republican back in there who wants to deregulate Wall Street, cut taxes on the rich, do exactly what he did. It's not going to
Actually,
happen.
I think I'm concerned about Donald Trump because I think he's more of a Democrat than a Republican. Okay, and there's a lot of people who would not want another Democrat now because of what happened with the healthcare system.
Not many of them.
I'm one. My health care insurance went from $600 to like $2,400. Okay, my health insurance is more than my mortgage now.
That's
okay?
your doctor's problem. And
No,
the
no, that's
lawyers.
my problem.
That's the lawyer-
That's my
That's
problem.
the doctor's
That's
problem.
people's
And the
problem.
hospitals.
But
the
realistically
hospitals.
speaking, I
Ask
agree with
them
you
what
that
to do.
I agree with you. You could be very well right, not for the reasons that you said, but if you look at the country's demographics, I think that's the biggest argument why the Democrats have everything locked up for the next however many years. But let me. That said, I do think that your party does have an interesting issue facing it because I do think that Hillary Clinton is poised to be indicted.
Hopefully.
Because I mean they have put people in jail for a lot less than what Hillary Clinton
She
did.
seems really worried about it, I have to tell you.
Now,
the FBI is investigating.
Let me tell you something. The election is like this. There's 50 states, right? 39 of them right now, you can mark them blue and red. Doesn't matter what campaign or what happens, that's the way it's going to go. This whole election is won in 11 states, the swing states. In the last election, Mitt Romney lost every single one of them. Almost impossible to do, to lose them all. He lost every single one of them. And if Trump or Ted Cruz or whoever it is can't resonate in those 11 states, they're not
Look,
going to win.
I like Ted Cruz. That's my first choice.
Oh, you
Okay.
go vote.
Now let me tell you.
What about Himmler? Himmler was a
Himmler,
pretty good
no,
guy.
they're distant
Off
cousins.
stage, Himmler was
So
one of the
what?
best
You
of
know.
all time.
But I like Ted Cruz for a number of reasons.
I know you do.
And I don't want to get into specifics, but you know, the Democrats got the first black person elected president. Great for them. That's historical.
No, half.
No,
I think it
no,
was
Okay.
no, it wasn't
Well,
just
whatever.
Democrats.
Now we've got an opportunity to elect the first Hispanic guy that's a Republican. So what's wrong with that? We ought to be rallying around the minority candidate, shouldn't we be?
Yeah, if he wasn't
Isn't that
such
the
a
liberal
hateful,
point?
spiteful, insignificant, small penis of a human, that guy.
There you go.
He's
I mean, look,
genetically challenged.
he is
and you can
too,
quote me.
Dennis,
I
he
said
is too
genetically
far.
challenged.
He is too far to the right. I mean, you know, I
That
mean,
comes out a lot in their politics.
How do you know
Because I've been
that?
with him.
Great
Peanut
question
gallery.
for
I
our
just want to
studio
clarify for
audience.
the
I
home
dated
audience.
Ted Cruz. I know
When
a lot
too
about
far
that.
to the right means he
Terrible
wants the
kisser.
Constitution to control the country. He wants to get back to constitutional principles. That's what is being considered to be too far to the right. He's not a person who thinks that the government should be owning and operating 1/6 of the economy.
That's right.
He's not a person who thinks that the president should, with a stroke of his pen, create laws and circumvent Congress.
He is
this is somebody who upholds constitutional
He is
principles.
a person who gets the Bible and the Constitution confused.
How so?
That's who he
How
is.
so?
Well, the thing with gay marriage, he wants to do that, do away with that as soon
Where
as
in
he
the
gets
Constitution-
in.
wrong
Where in
with
the
that?
Constitution does it say
Marriage was made for
that
a man and a
Constitution-
woman.
Yeah.
Says who?
Wait.
Says God.
Wait.
Adam and Eve.
Wait. How?
On
Where?
that.
It
Where is?
wasn't Adam and Bruce Jenner.
Where in the
not.
Constitution does it say that the federal government controls what is the definition of marriage? It's not in the Constitution.
Where does it say
it's
it
a state
doesn't?
issue. I'll tell you exactly where it says it doesn't. The Constitution says that the government, the federal government, only has the power to address issues that are specifically enumerated for it in the Constitution, from Articles 1 through 6, whatever they may be, okay? If a power that is not specifically enumerated is explicitly left to the states and the people. That's Amendment number 10, okay? So if you look at the Constitution, there's nothing in there that talks about marriage.
Right.
Nothing. Therefore, under the 10th Amendment, the definition of marriage has to be resolved by the states, not the federal government. It's up to the states to determine that. Now,
Okay.
Ted Cruz is saying, whether you agree with it or not, this is a state issue. And it's the same thing with abortion. There's no abortion in the federal in the Constitution, therefore it's a state issue. Even Scalia, who is against abortion, said if a law came down that said that wanted to prohibit abortion, something that he would support, he would say he'd strike that down. Why? Because the Constitution doesn't address abortion. It doesn't give Congress the power or the president or the courts to address that issue. So the issue of marriage is something that is left to the states. Ted Cruz is not a far-wing, right-wing nut because he says that this is a state issue. He is, in fact, a strict construction of the Constitution, which is something that all the founding fathers would have supported.
No, they would not have supported it.
Why not?
Because they knew then they were smarter than our crowd. They knew the future was going to be, unless we were.
So how do you reconcile the
wait,
10th
and these
Amendment?
and things change. Life changes.
So amend the Constitution.
Population.
Well, let me ask
Amend
you
the
this:
Constitution.
is it a
try
right?
to.
Is it a right for heterosexual people in America to get married?
It depends on what state you're in, and I imagine, according to all the states, yes.
Oh, so it's this.
Right.
Okay. So then, if you're gay, and the only difference between being gay and heterosexual is you're gay, shouldn't you be allowed that same right?
No, because the definition is between a man and a woman.
No. There you're going back to that fairy tale book again.
No, not fairy
You know,
tale.
the law-
What's
you know,
the fairy
the
tale
law
book?
of
Is that
These
the
are the
Bible?
laws of every
and
state in the
Jack and
country.
the Beanstalk and
These
the
are
Three
the
Little
laws of
Pigs
every
and-
state in the country, a man and a woman. It says, in fact, California passed a referendum to confirm that it is between a man and a woman. That's not the Bible. That's California, one of the most liberal states in the country. By a far majority of the people said it is a relationship between a man and a woman. It's not the Bible. That's what the people of California say.
You know what?
Okay.
People change the laws. The laws are there. We're humans. Now, there are out of the closet. There's millions of humans, nice ones. Go to your churches that are gay. And we're going to judge, so I'm suggesting the humanity of humans will
It's
change
not a
it.
question of
It
judgment,
is
Jerry.
absolutely
It's a question of
It's
undermining our
not a
society
question,
and
no.
our values.
Laws change.
And that's been the gay agenda.
Speed limit used to be 35 miles an hour. Now it's 70 miles an hour. There was a law, but at one time it was 35 miles an hour.
What's the
laws
purpose of
changed.
procreation? What's the purpose of marriage? Procreation.
It's to
Two
fall
women
in love,
can't
to have a
procreate.
partner,
Two
to have a
guys
partner.
can't
What if-
procreate.
Let's get
They
back to
adopt children
government.
all
Let's
the
get back to
time.
government. We have a system to allow our government to change. We have an amendment process. It was deliberately made to be
Yeah,
very
and
difficult.
it's not time. It's too much suppression, and that's why you guys are taking it where you are, because people are changing.
So you want
more.
to go
Yes,
against the
yes.
constitutional system. You want to override the
Yeah,
Constitution.
because they would have done that at the very
So the
beginning.
Constitution is
What-
outdated, in
what-
your opinion.
To make amendments, I agree
Well,
with you.
look, isn't
but
this
if you're
what
not
happened
gonna
with-
do
isn't
it-
this what happened
And what
with
about
civil rights?
segregation? Should that have happened after
Segregation?
50
There were
years?
rights. There was legislation passed in Congress.
Okay.
That's
we
the
went
route to
through-
go.
We
You
went through the
legislate.
process.
Well, didn't the legislation pass gay marriage?
But
No,
we
it
don't
was
agree
Supreme
with
Court-
it.
It was a Supreme Court decision.
Supreme Court decision.
Right. It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't legislation. It wasn't.
Well, what does
and
that
in
mean?
fact, a lot of legal experts say that opinion is not enforceable. Okay, because it basically it goes against the Constitution.
All right, then what does the Supreme Court mean? Does it mean nothing? Some people think it means
No,
nothing.
no,
Is that
it's
what
a-
you're saying?
no, I'm not saying that at all.
What it sounded like what you're saying. The Supreme Court, they made a thing, but it doesn't mean anything.
No. The Supreme
What
Court.
did you just
The
say?
Supreme Court, by a very narrow majority, 5-4.
Makes no difference.
Said that
you're pregnant or you're not pregnant. They won 5-4. It was on our side, 5-4. Okay.
I believe it was decided wrongly, but I believe it also
I know you
controls.
do.
But by the same token, if we're talking about what's right and what's wrong, I would say that that it was decided wrongly because it's an issue that is left to the power of the states. And you have a Supreme Court that abridged the separation of powers in the Constitution to arrive at that decision. And it's not just me. I mean, it's legal
But
experts
they
everywhere.
did. You want to pick your laws that suit you, but sometimes the laws are going
Well,
to
No, no,
They already had
I
an
said we have to
advantage.
abide by the law. I'm not cherry picking.
I'm saying to
I'm
you,
not saying we
laws
can disregard
changed
it.
because
There's-
there was a time in North Carolina in 1938 when I was born that blacks couldn't live. They couldn't walk down the street.
That's a separate issue.
Humans change.
That's a separate
Humans
issue.
change. We evolve. We grow. We expand. Hopefully.
Listen,
We
the
don't.
Supreme,
You understand that?
the
So
Supreme
that's when
Court,
laws.
the Supreme Court decision on gay marriage already had a leg up for the Democrats and the liberals because the last two justices appointed to the court are gay. Did you know that?
No,
I didn't know.
Okay.
One of them is, I know.
The woman. I think.
Well,
that's
look, the difference in this issue with Americans is just as simple as this. Dennis, and I'm going to answer the same question. Do you think gay people choose to be gay or they're born that way?
Probably born that way.
Really?
Yeah.
So they're born that way, but they shouldn't be allowed, but they shouldn't have a right to marry.
No, not each
No,
other.
wait,
That's
wait.
wrong as hell.
Wait, I agree.
How is that wrong?
Because
I agree.
it's
Look,
not
no,
a
no,
traditional
that's not the
man
right-
and wife
the
family to
framing-
raise
there's
children
no
and influence them.
traditions
You're not
like
framing the
male and
issue.
Gay,
female.
There aren't
gay
those
people raise
traditions
kids all the
anymore.
time.
That doesn't make it right.
But why don't you take care of some of these children about with abortion, then let the church and the synagogues go take care of these millions of babies that are born. Instead of let the kids teach them sex in the school. Open up. Treat them. They are sexual beings. Talk to them real. And not saying they hope they do the right thing because they're Catholic.
I'll
or they're
guarantee
Jews.
you that when a
I'm
kid is
guaranteeing
brought up
you.
in a gay relationship as a child,
You can't guarantee
he's
that 'cause
going
you're
to
wrong.
have problems
You're
with
wrong.
identity.
Oh, as if straight people don't have problems?
Not to the degree
There's
that
no data to support
No,
that.
that's not true. There
That
is
is
statistics
not
that's just
true.
coming through now, and
That's
they
why
are
you're gonna
finding
lose. You know,
that
you can
the
do all
children
that
are
stuff.
being harmed
You're
to some
losing.
extent, and
Yeah.
there are statistics
They
that are
are,
coming out.
when children aren't being loved and nurtured, there will be an issue. Straight, gay, black, Asian, or whatever. How can you not understand
Can I-
that?
talking
can
about
I tell you my
raising a
position on
family
that?
in a typical
How do you not get that?
man-woman
There's no typical.
relationship.
That's what
Can I
you-
tell you my
there is
position
no
on that?
typical.
Can I tell you my position?
Then how about a man and a goat?
Yes, in Alabama, you
Think so?
kidding me? After the game,
Jerry.
I was at the game.
My position on this issue is going to piss everybody off, okay? Because I see it. I see this. I think there's merit to what Jerry's saying. Okay, the way I look at it is, first of all, I would abhor any action that would discriminate against gay people, prevent them from living to each other, getting legal benefits, whether it's insurance, tax benefits, or testamentary benefits. They should have all that. My whole thing is that it shouldn't be called a marriage for semantic reasons, because I think that a marriage between a man and a woman should be respected
It's a sacred
as the
thing.
paradigm. Now that said, I think that we need to address the children's best interests. People who are in foster care, and a lot of kids in foster care are getting treated terribly and they're neglected. And I think it's possible for a gay couple to raise a child with love.
Good for you.
and
That's a breakthrough. To me, it's a breakthrough.
And to provide a better environment than what they would otherwise get in an orphanage or a foster home.
What about just
But I would
people being
say,
loving? Maybe
but-
you got to get out of
Let me
Sandy
finish.
Springs
Let me
and
finish.
hang out somewhere
Let me
else.
finish. Let me finish.
Really, I'm
that
serious.
said,
You
that
can
said,
get out
I
of
think
town sometime
I
and
think
see
these,
what people
these
live,
same,
how they live.
These same children, I think, have a better environment, if they
Love
were
is
a
the essential.
heterosexual
Love is the
couple.
essential.
listen?
You learn it. I am listening because I can't stand what I'm hearing. That's right. Okay. No, you can leave. I'm here. I'm a guest.
Look, the whole
Tell us how
thing-
you
look,
really feel, Don.
Marriage is a concept invented by
Are
man.
you having a good time?
That's what it is. You know, it's invented by man. It's not written in stone, and you say it's traditional or this or that or the other. But marriage was invented by man. Okay, it can be changed.
Right. So
Yeah.
so if you have a PGA tour, right?
Right.
And the rules say that you have to walk the course. You have to walk the course, the entire course. Okay? And if you don't walk the course, you're disqualified. It's part of the game, right? Because it imposes fatigue. It affects your game to walk an 18-hole course carrying your clubs or
Okay.
whatever. Okay. Now all of a sudden you have a guy that comes in who's handicapped and he's in a wheelchair and he wants to be driven. So you have to change the PGA rules for me because I can't walk. Now you're talking about changing the entire game for somebody who is ineligible to play.
You play
According
golf,
to the
Jerry.
rules.
I don't know what he's talking
We're
about.
talking about a game. It's sticks and balls and
No, what I'm saying is...
I'm talking about human beings.
Yeah, I'm talking...
Club.
Well,
Yeah.
do
No,
you
you're
think-
not. You're
do you
talking about a
think-
machine.
Do you
a guy
think that they should be able to change... Let me tell you, this is
No,
not just a game.
no,
This
I
is a
don't.
multi-million-dollar enterprise. Do you think that somebody who cannot play by those rules should have the ability to change the game for everybody else?
Let me ask you a question. If two people come to your office that want to get married, that are men or women,
Right.
would you not defend them?
Here's
You're a
my
lawyer.
answer.
Wait, no,
Wait.
let me. I want him to.
All right,
would you say
I'd like to
because
come
of
back
your
on that.
scruples or your dogma or the Constitution said, guys, I just can't. You're nice people, I'm sure, but I can't do anything for you.
Okay, first of all, I'm not empowered to marry anybody.
But if-
Number two,
if you were,
how much
I know
money
you-
are they paying me?
Good answer.
Okay.
That's a good answer.
I don't have enough information to answer this
underneath,
question.
you're one of us. And you, don't, you put one of those Hubble microscopes. We're all
I would have
Chris.
anybody do anything that's within the law.
I want to...
That's
Well, that's not in the law. though.
I want to
It
put
might
this
not be in your law.
illustration on a personal level, okay? Chris, I don't know your parents.
Okay.
If your parents were gay, you wouldn't be here.
That's just
That's not
not true.
true.
He may have been adopted.
No,
been
I'm
adopted.
saying he couldn't be
But
naturally
he could
born.
have been an adopted
That's the
lovely
whole
human.
point.
No, it's not.
Why?
You're all,
You get married
I'm
to have
taking
children.
you off the air.
There's
I'm taking that
artificial,
sponsor.
there's artificial insemination. There's all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying everybody has to be gay.
I'm not
Okay?
saying that at all. I
I'm
just
talking about human beings,
traditional
for God's
marriage
sake.
has a purpose,
What
and
about
it's
if
been
you have
undermined by the
five
government.
people that want to get married because they all love each other? What about people who want to start a corporation, the people who love each other and they want to raise a family? What I see as a problem with this, I see it as the dilution of a very sacred institution that served
Exactly.
our society for a long time, for thousands of years, maybe not thousands, but hundreds at least. And the minute you start going down this slippery slope of changing the definition, you open the door for things like polygamy and polygamous marriages and incestuous marriages, and all based on the same principle: love. Love conquers all.
Right.
Love, love, love. But what do you think society will look like 50, 100 years after marriage has been diluted to include any type of love?
Maybe there'll be
I think
love with no marriage.
I think it would rot our society to the core. I
Right.
don't want to disrespect anybody who have a different sexual orientation than me at all. I want them to live and be happy and have all the same rights. But I also think that it's important for our society to look towards a paradigm and say, look, this is the ideal. You may not be able to conform with the ideal, and that's perfectly okay. We're not going to discriminate against you at all for that. We wish you well. Sei gesund, okay? But we should all try to achieve that for the interests of society in our future, because I think that in the long term, a family that has a mother and a father is what's best for raising children.
Undermining marriage and making it a social experiment by law is a very, very
You
dangerous
are a tough
path.
cookie, and I'll kick your ass. That's what I'm going to
Okay.
do.
On that happy note, folks, I
We
think
had
we've
guys
come to
like
the end
you
of
in
our
North
show.
Carolina, we chewed you up and spit you out, guys like you.
Okay.
That's why there is progressive,
Yeah.
and the guys like, really, all that stuff. Love is the answer. Your church teaches you love, open, to be expressed, and not judgmental. Is that not true?
We can't let you gay people get married because somewhere down the road we're going to have to let some guy marry a goat.
If you're laying in a gutter smoking a joint and don't have any shoes or anything else, I'm going to be judgmental. You're a frickin' bum.
And if you're a policeman, I'll have my own gun at you too. And that's what I'll do with you. How about that? There are a lot of lately examples that we.
Well, I can
show
see,
you.
folks, we made a lot of progress tonight.
Wait a minute.
I've
It's
lost
over?
about
It
5
just
pounds
started.
just for sweating. I'm going to let it be up to the audience out there, folks. If you like this format and would like to see us come back and bloody each other again next month, just let me know. You can get to AmericanHeartsRadio.com. You can type a message, and we'll get the message, believe me. And it's
I
having a
wanna
kumbaya moment over here.
Can we say, I want to apologize to you're absolutely right. And the reason, for real, serious comment is, I don't watch these shows because of guys doing what I did, jumping on somebody else's. So I apologize.
That's okay. That was the nature of the show.
So you wouldn't watch
That's
the
kinda what
show
we
on
were
Retro
trying to do.
Radio?
No, I would have turned it off a long time ago.
You can't be on the show if you don't do that.
Because of me. Because of me. Not you
On
guys.
that happy note, folks, we're going to take a break for good until next month. And thanks a lot for joining us. I'm Dennis Aloia. Keep it real.